and welcome to my reflection for the fifth Sunday in Ordinary Time. I think what struck me in all these readings was the overall theme of suffering, but not suffering in a negative way. Suffering seen as a gift, as a way of serving Christ. In the first reading, we hear of Job. Job is in the midst of his sufferings. He had everything taken away from him. And he accepted it. He accepted it as God's will in his life. And he opened himself up to be able to receive Christ, to receive the help of others, to be able to help others by offering up his suffering. In the second reading, we hear of St. Paul. St. Paul who became weak, who became a slave to all, so that he might win more for Christ. Through his sufferings, he was able to show the love of God, of giving himself, same as Job, of giving themselves completely into the hands of God, of trust, of knowing that God will take care. Simon Peter's mother-in-law, she too, in the midst of sufferings, her suffering was not in vain. It was to help to bring others to the faith. And so we often see suffering as something negative, as something pointless. But in the reality, suffering is and should be seen as a gift from God. Especially in today's society, suffering it's viewed so negatively. And yet, as Christians, as Catholics, Christ's greatest act of love was the greatest moment of suffering. His greatest act of love upon the cross, of suffering the crucifixion and death on the cross, was also his greatest act of love, of self-emptying, of giving himself fully to us. He gave himself fully to the Father in forgiveness for our sins. He did it out of love for us. And we too can turn our sufferings into a great act of love and in service to God, to bring about a greater good. I don't know about you, I don't suffer very well. But what I'm learning, and I'm learning through the reading of the saints and watching people around me who I know and love who are suffering, is that holiness can be achieved so much faster if we take the time and not focus on our own suffering, but offer it up for those who are also suffering, for our family members, for the holy souls in purgatory, for those who need our prayers. The giving of ourselves does not just happen when we are healthy and well and able to serve. That is a very good thing. Peter's mother-in-law, beautiful, up and service right away, of giving of herself as soon as she is healed. In repayment for that love and in that service, she was fulfilling her ministry and her vocation just as much as she fulfilled it when she was sick. I think that's what we really need to realize. Job, Paul, Peter's mother-in-law, all fulfilled their vocation to love, not just when they were well, but when they were sick. In the midst of their sufferings, they were showing and imitating God's love by offering it up for others, by being a witness for others of the love of Christ. I want to leave you with that, and I thank you for tuning in, and God bless you.